Welcome to my channel, guys. That's a Chelsea Blue. And before we get into it, if you could hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and put your comments down below. Right, let's get into it. As we've been hearing reports of this jacket deal, apparently his personal terms have been agreed. If we're, believe in a PR, apparently though, we're hoping that you know this player gets done this week. You know, for well, Ren want over £60 million. Chelsea don't want to pay that much, so you know we're also being linked with um, Julian Alvarez of Atletico Madrid. I wouldn't mind seeing him in the team, if I'm being honest. I think he's a decent player, certainly better than what we got. If I'm, in all fairness. But will that happen for €100 million or £100 million, whatever it was I read? I, I, I don't think so. That's just me. I don't believe any of the most of the PR that comes out of you know all the blue ticks and stuff. I believe it when I see it. One of them, unless of course they're holding, if they're holding up the Chelsea shirt, then I believe it. Then obviously, and until then, I don't believe anything. But so yeah, as I said, this jacket deal. If that happens, for 60+ million is madness in my eyes. When you got Mamadou Sarr that they could recall, or El. I think that would be a better outfit. Personally, I would say Mamadou Sarr. He looks a better. He looks. I say he looks good, but he looks a bit more physical. Looks a bit of a bigger presence. Got, looks a bit more technical, gifted as well. What I saw, the highlights against the for Senegal the other night in the African Cup Nations. So we'll see. But they said these owners they want to sign this jacket. But if that one don't happen, apparently there's still other two or three other targets. One of those is Marcos Senesi. I mean, he looks alright, but you know, as I said, I do we believe him? And then we're seeing then that the Sassy has been, back in first team training. I think this is in case they don't sign nobody. I think it's all PR stunt if you look like that. I think they brought the Sassy in case nothing happens. So because Tossin's injured as well. I think there's a groin injury, going to be out for a number of weeks. So I think that's what will happen. I think I personally don't believe we'll sign anyone, and I think this Sassy we brought back into the team, into the team selection, or they bring Sassy in to bring him up to speed so they can sell him on, because it's still like almost 2 weeks or just under 2 weeks before the end of the winter transfer window. That's what I think will happen with that. As for the links with Julian Alvarez, I don't think that's going to happen, if we're being perfectly honest. I mean, yes, it'd be great. Um, does it show intention? Maybe very, 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 a 1% maybe. Uh, but we need a proper quality goalkeeper, centre back. As I said, we should be signing like a Bastoni, or that obviously the other player, Swaddleback or Swashleback, or something his name is. People have been mentioning him. I don't know nothing about him, mind. But apparently, he's supposed to be pretty good. I know a bit about Bastoni, who don't. And I said I think we need a proper out and out striker. An Osherman would have been nice, but once again, as I said, these owners don't want to go down that route. So yeah, so that's where we are with that. I think that's it with the team news. I believe Enzo Fernandez apparently is ill, so I don't think we'll be seeing him. Definitely won't be seeing him tomorrow. There's probably won't see him against Palace unless, of course, he makes a fast recovery. So yeah, that's where we are with the sort of PR. as of now, I've just been checking X to see if anything else, excuse me, if anything else of happening, or what any other talks or anything, but nothing really. So yeah, just want to say as well, watched again that Strasbourg protest, proper protest, marching protest. Nobody, I didn't see no one on their phones, no one certainly chanting Liam Rossignol, didn't hear any of those words. It was like basically blue coat out. Also say it was blue coat out. They don't want this model to change, but our supporters, or most of the Gen Zs and most of our supporters, they want to have this protest aimed at the model to be changed or out, when people with eyes can see that this model's not changing. It'd be nice if it was changed, but it could have changed. Let's be honest. They could have signed after Maresca. They could have gone out and found another manager, brought back Mourinho. That's a bit of intent. Could have gone in and brought Mike Maignan from AC Milan. That's shown a little bit more. Could go and sign Thiago Silva on a freebie. That's shown a little bit more, as well as a Bastoni. That's shown, and could have got, as I said, could go and sign Osimhen, or somebody like that. But once again, they want to go for another unproven kid, with 29 league appearances for Strasbourg. Not Strasbourg, sorry, Rennes. Um, you know, we're going down that route, still going down that same route, that same path, that these owners, all they know is kids, because there's value there for him to sell them on later on. That's why we keep going for these kids. They don't want to go for a Thiago. Again, they don't want to go for him, so they go still going for these kids. And what's wrong with Mamadou Sarr? You know, they bought him. Why isn't he not good enough? If he's not good enough, why did they tell you he was good enough? Because that's what these guys listen to, AI scouting and AI data. These are the players that they told them to go and get. Well, go and we got him. Go and recall him. And if AI told you that, but instead of that, they're obviously not good enough then. So AI, they didn't use their eyes like we used to, and like before, when we had proper scouts. Go out and watch the players that are looking good. Now we just, the owners just go down that AI nonsense, and AI is taking over this world, as we all know, unfortunately. But AI is not going to pick you a great team, even though AI picks our team more or less. But maybe the sporting directors. But yeah, as I said, what's wrong with Mamadou Sarr? And as I said, I'm not saying they're the ones to have the answer to our problems, because they're not. But why waste £60 million when you've got players you could recall? It just seems madness to me. It just seems pointless. What's the point in having all? You've got 8 players. Yeah, these owners have signed 8 defenders for 230 odd million, or something. I think I was reading £230 million. Let me just check what it was. Um, to Yeah, so we got centre backs. Yeah, 8 centre backs, 260.9 million. Three full backs, 127.8. Midfielders, 460.5 million. Well, wait a minute. Midfield was 13. They signed 13 midfielders, 460.5 million. Yeah. Wingers, they signed 10, 352.5. Strikers signed 272 million, and they signed 10 of them. And how many of these players are world class, or certainly good enough to compete with other teams? None. But I say none. But our centre backs. None. I don't. Fofana, he's injured a lot, so can don't can't really mention him. Then you got the Sassy or disaster the Sassy, you know, not good enough obviously because he's been thrown out or he's been brought back into first team training now. Then you got Badashile, don't rate him, you know. Then you got Alcimino and Mamadou Sarr. Um, like I said, the madness, the midfield, a lot of players they've wasted money on, and only ones you could sort of say that are decent enough, you know, quality, is Cucurella, Caicedo, Palmer, Esteban William. That's basically it, and that's all the players. That's the 2 million that these pair of clones, or not pair because there's more than a pair, but these clones have owned. Out of the 2 billion, you can only put the players on one hand. Yeah, and I said, honestly, they haven't got a clue. These owners haven't got a clue. They haven't got a clue what a team looks like. They didn't know who Ruud Gullit was, for God's sake. Yeah, let's be honest. They didn't know who Ruud Gullit was. Ruud Gullit, a legendary player, didn't know who he was, and he's like, oh, I've managed Chelsea, and I played for Chelsea. Come on. As I said, these clowns, they don't know nothing about the Chelsea heritage. But like I said, they're a cancer to our club. They're absolute. They said they destroyed us. They're not destroying now. They destroyed us. They still want to do this Lego brick competitions. Because we do sign embryos. So I suppose matches to what we're signing. Play with Lego. You know, Roman Abramovich. He didn't play with Lego. He liked playing with trophies because that's what we were winning, trophies. Like I said, but then you get all these people who protesting. Like I said, want this model, this Fugaziva model to change when people with eyes, Stevie Wonder can see it. This model's not changing. As I said, they could have signed these players. They had the chance. In the summer, after we won the Club World Cup, we could have signed some quality players, but they never. They went straight down buying kids and Brighton rejects. You know, They said, and that's all these owners know. That all they know is, Joe Shields. All he knows is, the Man City. All right, he got one right with Cole Palmer, and Brighton. That's their model. That's and then they want to build bridges with Spurs when we destroyed bridges when with Tottenham. Under Roman Abramovich, we destroyed the bridges with Spurs because we hate Spurs. I said these clown owners, they haven't got a clue. As I said, don't trust them to run a bath. I would not trust them. They're as much use, these owners and the rest of them, as a chocolate fire guard. Absolute useless. But there you go. That's just where we are. And I said, and most of the Gen Z kids, I said with the protest, the other day, on their phones, singing about bloody Enzo Maresca. Why are you singing under Enzo Maresca for? Is part of their model. They signed him to for 5 or 6 year contract. He's the gaffer. He's the one who's gonna project us and this, that, and the other. And then look what happened there. You know, and then they said then about that if it goes wrong with Enzo Maresca, the sporting directors are gone, and then they go and sign a bloody extension. Where does it end? And then they go and sign us then another bloody lesser manager than the last one. It's like I said, it's gone from Potter down to Pochettino, down to Maresca, and then now to Liam Rosilla. Where are we going next? know, Years ago we would shop at like Harrods. Now we're shopping, I don't know, in a Poundland. Pound shop. That's where we shop now. Like I said, and most of you fans think that this model's changing. Honestly, Stevie Wonder can see this model ain't going to change. And the quicker you all realise this model's not changing, the better, because as I said, these owners have destroyed the club, and they're going to keep on destroying it. They're going to keep they're still making money, and that's what they're here for. They're here to make more money, because they're penny pinching clowns, and they're going to do everything they possibly can to get more money. And they're not interested in winning massive trophies or being a success at the club. They don't show no ambition, and that's just where we are with these owners. And I said I want these owners out, and apparently the other day, on another YouTube platform, um, they were in a meeting, and they or Bowley rung up uh, Barley, Egg Barley, and Egg Barley said that he's basically busy and he just wanted to watch TV. So there's a bit of animosity there, isn't it, old chaps? Yes, it's not calm. There's still like something going on between the owners. I think personally, they think they're trying to push Bowley out. I wouldn't be surprised, because that's just the way they are. I mean, none of them are any good anyway. But Barry, I mean, bloody hell, I mean, he's evil. I think he's an evil little runt. Um, personally, you know, runs away from kids' mind. We've all seen that video that Jacob, you know, 14-year-old boy, I think he is. He's running after Barry, and he runs off. Running into his car, scared of kids. He likes signing kids, though. He loves signing the kids, but he's scared of them. He's certainly scared of them. But yeah, that's where we are with this video, guys. As I said, there's nothing personal against nobody. I said I'm just sick and tired. This is why, like, where some of the other YouTubers, you get the ones that are like, hope you're doing all right, guys. Hope everything's okay. Football therapy. You need therapy to watch him. And then you got six of the best or six things we learned. I can give you certainly five things I've learned. I'll start at the top. Yeah, owners terrible. Absolute terrible, crap, rubbish, scum, you name it. Yeah, sporting directors exactly the same thing. Medical department, remedies. Come on, what we're doing here? That's three things. Then you've got set of sporting directors. Then obviously, you've got the coach or head coach. Don't have managers. That's four things. And five things. Most of the players that we've signed, and that's five things I've learned. And the other thing is, if you want to make six, is where is the Chelsea Supporters Trust? Can hear you or see you even. They're hiding. Maybe they're getting a bit of dough from the people above. Who knows? But they're obviously happy to see the club being destroyed, because they obviously not saying nothing. Not they're just posting out surveys or handing out surveys. Even though it'll come back, over 85% of the people who've done the survey are not happy the way the club is run, etc., etc., etc. But still nothing, or at least we're waiting. Hopefully, something comes soon, before the club's even more of an embarrassment than it already is. But yeah, but I said, sorry guys, I said I'm not one of these who prances around singing, acting, and all that crap. I'm passionate. Because I don't sing and dance doesn't mean I'm not passionate. I am. Love my club. Always have. Always will. I bleed blue. Don't burn blue. I support or fan. These owners. We're customers, but fuck off, everybody, and all the rest of you. Clowns. Um, but yeah, I said nothing personal to nobody, but I just want these out. When it happens, who knows? The sooner the better. They got to start paying off this debt they've taken out on the club, these loans with interest. So who knows? Maybe, and still no front the shirt sponsorship. And they're saying that under Roman Abramovich, we were a not very well managed club. Uh, I beg to differ on that one. I believe we always had a front of shirt sponsorship. I'm not saying that every single player that Roman paid for or bought was successful, you know, but at least under Roman, we won stuff. We were a success. Uh, we had a well managed. We had a greatest managers as well to our at our club. We had a great medical department, great players. Always, I said, always had a front of shirt sponsorship. Always had a full the backing of the supporters. Singing and dancing, and the atmosphere was way better than it is now. Now, it's just full of tourists. Most of the people that go there now, it's a day out for them. They're not that bothered. But us people and the ones who are proper supporters, we're the ones that suffer, unfortunately. So I know how most of you proper supporters feel. Certainly know, Johnny Minerals. He obviously passionate, and he can't stand these clowns like the rest of us. And respect to him, um, as well as one or two others. But yeah, as I said, I just want these clowns out of our club. Hate them, absolutely hate them. I know hate is a strong word, but I despise them. I can't stand them. I want them out. Love them to go out now, but unfortunately, you know, don't know whether it's going to happen. Whether this next protest will be better if we do another one, like at Strasbourg. As I said, the Strasbourg, where the one that's like a couple of hundred, it was, a large crowd, a proper crowd, wanting blue co out. Certainly not asking for the model to change. Let's be honest. Um, but yeah, as I said, that's where I am with that. Like I said, I want them out, win, lose, draw, blue co out, and that's where I am. I'm no flip flop merchant, no sellout, never will be, never have been. Um, you know, if anybody's watching this and he, wants me to advertise anything and 10% off of the mega store, go and do one. Not interested, not selling out my club like most of you YouTube sellouts, about one or two of you. But yeah, I said, nah, don't sell out my club. Sorry, not happening. Not for $1 billion or £1 billion. I would ever sell out for my club. But that's where I am for that. As for the team lineup for tomorrow game against Pafos, I believe we're going to play with Robert Sanchez on the left, Cucurella. On the right hand side, I'd imagine Reece James will be there. I know Gusto's back in the fold because he's back to training. Trevor Chalobah, I probably reckon that Badashile will be there as well. If not, it'd be Fofana. Then, as I said, Enzo Fernandez is injured, but do we bothered? Because I'm not. It's Enzo races Fernandez, the traffic cone. So I reckon it'll be Caicedo and Santos. On the left, I reckon we'll have Garnacho. On the right, Pedro Neto. Then I think then he'll play João Pedro. Let's course he's going to risk playing Palmer. But Palmer was holding his groin, but we're still managing him, and because the medical department are on the bench to make sure, And then at top, I think we'll see Liam Delap, Esteval is apparently back in the squad as well, so he'll probably be on the bench. Gittins as well has made is back in training, so I imagine everyone goes Gittins for Gittins. Um, so yeah, so I think that's it. And as for team score, I think Chelsea should win 3-0, but we like to concede, don't we? So I'm probably going to say 3-1. So 3-1 to the Chelsea. But yeah, that's it for the day, guys. I'm sorry it's a bit long anticipated. Once again, as I said, I beg you, if you're a lover of Chelsea, as I said, I'm sorry I'm not one of these, go crazy or whatever. Doesn't mean nothing. It just I am proper Chelsea. I'm a proper passionate Chelsea supporter. I've been for, like I said, almost 30 years. But please support my channel. Um, I will get better the more I do, the more I learn. So put your comments down below if you think I should do something a bit more or less. I'll do it. But as I said, I'm here to support my team. I love my team, just don't love the way it's been run. So if you're like me, who hate the way it's been ran, And as I said, I don't trust these owners to run the bath. So if you like me, please support my channel. If you love Chelsea, support the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell, and put your comments down below. And as always, guys, it's win, lose, draw, blue co out. And as I said, respect to every single one of you. Hope everybody who's going to the game tomorrow have safe travels, going and return obviously home to your loved ones, etc. As I said, this is nothing personal against nobody. I just want our club back. Like people who are like myself, I also want our team Chelsea back. Fighting for winning the league and winning everything else we used to win in the Roman. That's what I want. And if you want the same, then we're all on the same page. So yeah, winners draw, Luco out, clear leg out, and as I said, respect to every single one of you. That's a Chelsea blew out. Cheers, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Either anything PR'd um, or certainly after the game for the review. I'll see you then. Cheers, guys. All the best. Good one. And yeah, up the Chelsea.